The fuel prices are extravagant right now, to say the least. So you might be looking to save money elsewhere. Happy to report we are back on every Tuesday with our Real Talk Tuesday episodes. You might already know that there are free camping options out there, but hopefully today I'm going to give you a really extensive list that you can refer to and get some ideas on where you can stay. They are mostly boondocking with no hookups. However, there are places out there where you can still get hookups for free or at a very low cost. We have all kinds of content. You can look up here. I've got a playlist up here you can check out on how to boondock, where to find places, like everything you need to know, gear, all that stuff. And we also have a free newbie guide, boondocking guide on our website. It's just a download and it has all kinds of resources and links to help you get started if you've never boondocked at all. When we travel between our 13-week contracts, we're often pushing a very long distance and exploring along the way, and we almost never stay in an RV park when we're in between contracts. Okay, we're gonna break this down into 3 categories. The first one is staying somewhere sheerly for convenience. This is overnight parking. A lot of people will call this boondocking, but we prefer not to call it that because this is really just an overnight spot to park. It's more lot docking. So the obvious one that comes to mind is Walmart. A lot of people stay in Walmart parking lots. I cannot remember the last time that we stayed in one. We just simply don't like staying in Walmart parking lots. They're often very crowded and there's usually some interesting characters and we don't feel extremely safe. There are a lot of Walmarts though that are cracking down and not allowing parking.
We got to Walmart and we generally, when we boondock in a like a Walmart site or something like that, we'll go inside the store, we'll buy something and just ask a manager just to make sure. And they were like, no, you can't stay here. There's a city ordinance.
So always check before you stay somewhere overnight. The other really popular ones are Cabela's, which we've stayed at a lot of them. Cabela's are really nice to stay at. A lot of times they have a designated RV camp or an RV overnight area, and sometimes they even have things like dog runs or corrals for horses. Home Depot is another one that is on a lot of the sites that you'll see, like Campendium and freecampsites.net will list Home Depots at a lot of places. We personally have not stayed in a Home Depot, but it is an option. And then Cracker Barrel are really good ones. With Cracker Barrel, what we found a lot of times is if you have a very big rig like ours, or like our 37-foot travel trailer, sometimes it's difficult to stay in a Cracker Barrel parking lot. They have RV spots, but they're not very big in our experience, the ones we've stayed at. But again, it's nice to get up in the morning and have breakfast. Another really good one is casinos. We would hands down choose a casino every single time over Walmart. Another one that's kind of surprising is grocery stores. Obviously not like every grocery store, but we have stayed in a grocery store parking lot before. In Montana, just outside of Glacier National Park, there is a grocery store that allows overnight camping, which was really convenient because it was right at the west entrance. And churches. Churches is another option. We have not stayed in a church parking lot, but we have heard of plenty of people that have. Then you also have things like rest areas. On freecampsites.net or Campendium, you will find these listed on there where they allow them and how long you're allowed to stay in those rest areas. You're gonna have a lot of truck noise. Same thing goes with truck stops. Be very mindful and courteous toward the truckers that are using that area because they have limited places where they're able to stay the night. Look for city and county parks. We have stayed in several county and city parks, not really state parks for free, but definitely county and cities. We have found parks where they allow you to camp overnight and sometimes for multiple nights. So this one is kind of like an in-between, but it's a really great thing to look into if you're just coming through an area. You can check into like subscriptions. We have never joined Harvest Host, and it isn't anything personal. It's just that we're really proficient at finding boondocking spots, and so we haven't really felt a need to. Another subscription thing that you can join is Boondockers Welcome. They have a list of all kinds of people across the United States that offer their property for boondocking. You pay an annual service fee and then you're able to stay at these boondocking places. The next section I'm going to talk about, this is what we really consider boondocking. This is we're going for the experience. We're not staying for convenience, we're staying for the experience. And so when you're staying for an experience and you're gonna be there for more than one night, you're gonna be there, say, a couple nights, a couple weeks maybe, or in our case, sometimes when we're on contract, we'll be in an area for months at a time. So you're gonna be looking for public lands. And if you're not familiar with public lands, you've probably heard of BLM, and national forests, which are the two big public lands. BLM just stands for the Bureau of Land Management, and there is a website online that you can go and look up where all of this BLM land is. However, it's convoluted. It's difficult to read in my personal opinion. I have a better link. It's in our newbie guide on our website, so make sure you check it out there. But there's lots of other options too. So you've got conservation lands, fishing lakes, like in Kansas, they have fishing lakes where you can stay at for free for up to 14 days. Wildlife refuges, we stayed at one in Montana, which was really nice. The Army Corps of Engineers has some areas where you can boondock for free or at a very small cost. And then reclamation lands. All of these things are things you can Google online. There are federal public lands and there are state public lands. So just because your state might not have a lot of federal public lands, I'm speaking to you, East Coast, there might be some state public lands. Fun fact, in the United States, there are over 615 million acres of public lands. These are lands that our federal taxes pay for. They're lands that we should protect, and we're also able to recreate on. And this goes without saying, not all public land is available for recreating or camping on, so make sure that you know if you can stay there before you go. We have a video up here on our exact process to finding these kinds of sites. The last category, so we've talked about staying for convenience, staying for the experience, and the last category is staying out of necessity. The first one is utilize Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to find people in that area that you can go and trade work for and stay on their property. If you're trying to keep it free, you can offer to trade work for your stay on their land. We have done this twice. Once was in Washington in the Seattle suburbs. We stayed with a family and we did end up just paying them to stay there, but it was a very small fee and they had full hookups on their property, which was really nice. The other time was in North Carolina and we found a family, I believe through a Facebook page, and we had many conversations with them and they had kids that were our kids' ages, and we ended up staying with them for free. We didn't pay them a monthly rent amount. We did cover our electricity fees and we put in a 30 amp for them, and then we just occasionally did help them out with some work around the house. It was really nice to just like kind of be on someone else's land with them and kind of just getting to know somebody, and our kids became really good friends with them. It was a great experience and we found them through Facebook. The next option is work camping, which we don't have a lot of experience in, but we know a lot of people who do and they seem to really like it. The people that we know that work camp are doing so in all kinds of RV parks across the country. If you like more campy, you can do state park work camping, or even national forests have designated campgrounds and they offer like camp hosts there. You can also be a camp host in a lot of different like just regular RV parks, private RV parks, and have either a portion or all of your stay covered just by helping out. And the last one is mooch docking. Mooch docking is what we call it when you are staying at somebody's property, on someone's driveway or in their yard, and you're plugging into their power and using their water, and yes, you can even macerate your tank and pump it to their sewer. There are ways. We did that when we stayed with the family in North Carolina. So if you know somebody in the area, like family or friends of family, you can ask and see if you can stay on their land for a little while. So hopefully this has been helpful. There are a lot of ways to save money when you are traveling, especially if you are really good at boondocking. There are people that utilize Thousand Trails. That could certainly be a great option for you to save money if you are traveling in places where there are a lot of Thousand Trails. I don't know much about that. I have heard rumors that it's kind of hard to book things and you have to do it like 6 months in advance. That's why we have not purchased a Thousand Trails membership, because we're a travel nurse family. We're not often in an area where there are a lot of places we could hop around to, and we don't know, we maybe have a 4 to 6 week window of time in advance that we know where we're going. So we don't usually book things until we're like right up on top of them. So that's why we haven't done Thousand Trails, but it might be a really great fit for you to save a lot of money. Fuel prices are up, but that doesn't mean that you have to break the bank on the places that you stay at. Save a little money and stay somewhere free. Okay, you're not really saving the money, You're gonna use it for fuel, but you get my point. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have a lot of upgrades coming soon. They just haven't been installed yet. So that is on the list coming up in the next few Real Talk Tuesdays. And this weekend, we are taking you with us to Sedona. It is gorgeous, so don't miss that one. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you out there.